Hello you lovely people, it's Michael Burhan back again for another episode of a rather British review. Now in this week's episode I'm reviewing the game Mortal Kombat X. The game is developed by NetherRealm Studios and High Voltage Software for the PC, PS3 and 360 ports, and it's also published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. The game is also directed by Ed Boon. It's a fighting game developed by NetherRealm Studios in the 10th main installment of the Mortal Kombat video game series, which was released on April 14th, 2015 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. It's also scheduled to be ported to the PlayStation 3 and 360 by High Voltage Software at the third quarter of 2015 of course. NetherRealm's mobile team also developed an iOS and Android version of this game that were released on April 7th, 2015. Now, the gameplay is like the previous entries in the series, of course. It's a fighting game in which two players fight against one another using a variety of attacks, special moves, and gruesome fatalities. The energy meter first introduced in the previous Mortal Kombat game allows players to perform techniques such as X-ray special moves, similarly to NetherRealm Studios' previous titles, Injustice, Gods Among Us. But it's also able to interact with the environment, bouncing off of areas to reposition themselves and using parts of the environment as weapons in addition to a set of moves that they can use during the fight itself. For example, with the character Scorpion, you can use ninjutsu variations in which he wields dual swords, Hellfire variation, and relies more on fiery special moves and Inferno variation, and it allows him to summon Hellspawn minions to him to fight as well. The Spirit Gorge, which was last seen in Mortal Kombat 4 Gold, returns in the game as well, as MKX features two new types of finishing moves: Quitality, which will instantly kill players' character if they quit during a multiplayer match; Faction Kills, finishing moves tied to each of the game's 5 factions; Brutality, finishing moves make a comeback from Mortal Kombat 3 in the form of enhanced versions of certain moves that are triggered when they are used to give an opponent the last attack in a round. The gameplay modes include Story, 1 vs 1 ranked, King of the Hill, Survivor, Test Your Luck, and new additions called Living Towers. It's an evolved form of Mortal Kombat's Challenge to Tower, where the player conditions will be changing every hour. Another new mode is Faction Wars, where players will have to choose from one of the 5 factions: Black Dragon, the Brotherhood of Shadows, Lin Kuei, Special Forces, and White Lotus, to align with and join a persistent online cross-platform competition with others, winning points for their faction to contribute to the conflict between them, ranking up personality, and earning special rewards such as faction-specific finishing moves if the player's faction wins at the end of any given game. The plot of the game is very simple. Several years after the defeat of Shao Kahn, Shinnok attacks Earthrealm with his army of NetherRealm forces, including the Earthrealm warriors who were killed during Kahn's invasion and now resurrected as revenants under Quan Chi's control. After fighting their fallen comrades, the strike team led by Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade and Kenshi open a portal to Raiden's Sky Team Temple ahead of the Gensei Chamber, the source of the Earthrealm's life force, where Raiden and Fujin are battling Shinnok and his NetherRealm forces. During the fight near the Gensei, they distract Shinnok long enough for Raiden to steal Shinnok's amulet and imprison him inside it, but Quan Chi escapes. Johnny and Sonya track him down to Leia in NetherRealm and defeat him, successfully restoring Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Jax to human form. Quan Chi escapes again, and in the years that follow, Johnny and Sonya marry and have a daughter named Cassie. And later divorced, Scorpion reinstates his Shiryu Rai clan, monitoring Kenshi's son Takada, and Sub-Zero becomes the new Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei after killing Sector. Now, as you can tell with the story, it's a very, very well padded out story in itself. It gives you a great conclusion, amazing plot twists, and great characterizations. You get to build a lot more on the characters than what happened previously in Mortal Kombat 9. If you haven't played that, I suggest you go and do so. And it also gives you a bigger, more padded out variation of the game. The game is very quick to play through. It's one of those games that you could probably spend within 6 to 9 hours of game time in order to complete and actually get one variation of the story. But if you're one of those people who likes to be an utter completionist, you can actually go through every single stage of the game and get every single character enemy as well. If the story's not something that would hook you, I suggest that the gameplay mechanics and also the fact that you want to better yourself for online play extends the game time extensively. So it allows you to get more, probably over 20 plus hours of game time to 60 plus hours of game time, depending on how you will play the game. The great thing about the game itself is that it gives you so many variations that you have a lot more to choose from. The one of the downsides of this game as well is the fact that you have microtransactions, which means that a lot of players can have unfair advantages by purchasing one button fatalities, basically simple fatalities that will allow them to get an edge over their competitor. I don't like this. I think it's a very bad way to make money, and it also gives an unfair advantage to those who haven't worked for something. It just says, hey, if you pay this fee, we'll give you anything that the other guys unlocked anyway. The game's audio and also the beautiful music and the character variations define it as well, and I love the fact that you get to play new variations of old characters and also old variations of new characters, you know, people who can come out and appear as something different but play the same way as they played previously. And also you've got a very good layer of old and new that you can pan together and play through in order for yourself to kind of get to grips with this game and learn more of the techniques, more of the fatalities, and all the very multiple endings that you're actually crossing through as well. Now, down to the score of the game, I will give this game a very, very solid 9 out of 10. Reason being, I felt that the game story mode accentuates the game itself. It's very much worth the price that you want to play at a full cost of $60, but I would persuade anyone, if you can, wait out for it, or if you're getting a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 copy of the game, to wait until the game price slightly lowers, because with the game itself, the DLC, the game is very, very expensive. You're looking at nearly $100 on this game itself, which with a season pass could probably get you a lot more, or even if you get the Game of the Year edition, which will eventually come out after probably 2 to 4 months, will give you everything that you're looking for, including the specialized DLC of Jason Voorhees and the Predator. The one thing I will say is it's a great addition to the Mortal Kombat series. It's a great story that we get to see a little bit more, and always, guys, make sure that you look at the end credits of the game as well, because it always has a nice little caveat after the credits end of what's going to be happening in the next game. So it gives you a lot more to sort of play for and a lot more to play with. I would suggest staying off of YouTube if you want to see the complete story of the game, because I think it will ruin your overall experience, because what this game does have in terms of story, it would then lack in terms of buying potential if you basically find it on YouTube. That's pretty much it from me, guys. Tell me what you think of the game. Remember to clickety-clack on that like button, subscribe to this channel, and leave your comments at the bottom and tell me what you think of Mortal Kombat X. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? Let me know. And as always, guys, stay tuned to youtube.com/nerdgenius for more. Make sure you check out I Got Gameplay every Saturday at 8 PM on the Retro Unlim Network on youtube.com/unlimradio, or check us out on iTunes in our archive if you go to itunes.com/I Got Gameplay. And as always, guys, this is Michael Burhan saying, from me, as always, I've got gameplay. Have you?
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.